Hey everybody, Chris with Night of Living Card Games. Back again for day 15 of my first campaign run through Earthborne Rangers. So day 14 saw us getting a canoe and then heading towards the swamp. And so hopefully today we will be getting into the swamp. But first, we've got to do the campaign tracker. So first things first, I'm going to cross off the day that we're at. And the weather has shifted back from howling winds to a downpour, so I have that weather out. But on day 15, we have to read an entry in the campaign log. Without a faster means of communication, news tends to flow like water along the paths and rivers of the valley. Borne by the traders and peddlers and a few dedicated stilt horse couriers, it's expected that when travelers cross paths on the trail, they take a few moments to share stories of local events. The last few times you've stopped to talk, all the stories have been about the reclaimers. A few people report being attacked by reclaimer seekers, and more have seen them moving in the forests and the woodlands. Nearly all such sightings and attacks seem to take place near structures or old Estian ruins. It certainly sounds like they're making themselves at home in the valley. Complete Invasion Stage 1 and gain Invasion Stage 2, and then record 94.5 7 days from now on the campaign tracker. Alright. So we're at day 15 and we get Invasion Stage 2. All right, and then 7 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On day 22, we will have to read entry 94.5. All right, so I got that recorded. Let's take a look at Invasion Stage 2. The Reclaimers are everywhere. They seem to be creating nests in certain locations. Path deck assemblies. If your destination is a ruin, forest, or mountain, search the general set for one Reclaimer polyp and shuffle it into the path deck. Additionally, shuffle a number of Reclaimer seekers based on the number of days since you have received this mission. 1 seeker, 2 seeker, or 3 seekers. Okay. So, that's a thing we're going to have to deal with now. All right. Well, the big thing is when we last left, we stopped and we camped along our way to the Terravor. So the Terravor is a location and it is a biomeld. It has a 3 presence and 4 per ranger progress to it, and it says when you perform a test that interacts with the attached feature, reduce your efforts by 1. And response, when the attached feature is cleared, you continue into the depths of the Terravor, read an entry. So, all right, so there's going to be some features attached here. All right, so let us read what's going on here. From far away, it looks like a massive molehill winding through valleys and over ridgelines, a ridge of rocky ground cutting through the trees. Only as you get closer can you make out the incongruous details, the regular height and width of the ridge, the occasional vents oozing steam into the still air, and the gaping cavern where the ridge finally terminates in a glen. As you get closer, you can see how the land, bushes, trees, rocks, and dirt, look like it's been scooped up into that maw-like cavern. Then the entire ridge shudders and slides forward, and a few more inches of land are shoveled into the maw. The entire ridge is one of the legendary Terravors, a kilometers-long biomeld that slowly but inevitably consumes and processes everything in its path. All right, so the arrival setup is search the path deck for the next feature and attach it to this location, and then the lead ranger draws 1 path card. All right. Give my path deck a quick shuffle. This is not one of the locations indicated on stage 2, so I do not need to shuffle in the polyp. All right, is this a feature? It is the fraying rope bridge. So the Terravor is trying to devour the fraying rope bridge, which honestly is probably for the best. Seems like a fraying rope bridge is a safety hazard, so maybe getting rid of it isn't a terrible idea. All right, and now we draw a path card. Oh, Old Bloody Clicker. That is not ideal. You pause as you hear a faint sound. Not even daring to breathe, you strain your ears, and in the distance you hear a click, 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 like metal shards dropping one by one onto a piece of glass. You wait, and the clicking subsides. With a shudder, you let out your breath and take a step, only to jump away as the ground collapses right in front of you. A huge spindle scuttler, all shiny brown carapace, sliding mandibles, and hundreds of legs, rears above you. All right, 3 presence, 6 harm per ranger, 3 per ranger connect. It is disconnected, which I think means I can't actually do the connect test. Let me verify that real quick. Disconnected. You cannot add progress to this card using the Connect Common test. Right, and has a response after this being exhausted by a Praise Blue Mountain Challenge effect. Ready this being, then add 2 progress to it. All right, time for me to draw my opening hand. Probably should have done that before, but that's okay. So I got a Sill Sketchbook, Bold, my Vaulting Rod, a Reclaimer Mucus, Oru the Sheepdog, and another Oru the Sheepdog. Well, I'm definitely keeping one of the Orus. I'm going to do that. Let's see here. I think I'll keep the sketchbook. And I'm going to keep the Bold. I'm going to pitch the other 3. And then we get Walk With Me, my Boundary Sensor, and Quiet. Ooh, very nice. Now, I did add the canoe to my deck when I camped. I replaced one of the Reclaimer Mucuses with 1 canoe, so I'm only having 1 canoe in the deck. The reason being is because it has a setup keyword, I can put it into play after I've drawn my opening hand. But I'm going to choose not to because it takes up a lot of gear slots. It takes 3 out of the 5 gear slots. I don't think I'm going to need to. I don't think I'm going to need to travel on the waterways right now, so I'm going to chance it and just deal with it as is. So, all right. So my turn, starting my hand. So let us. First things first. Let's spend 2 spirit to get Oru the Sheepdog out. And then we are going to exhaust to move Old Bloody Clicker away from us and add 2 progress. I'm going to spend 2 fitness energy to get Quiet out. I'm going to spend my 3rd fitness energy to get a Boundary Sensor out with 4 sensors. We will spend 1 awareness to get Sill's sketchbook out. All right. Let me see. What does it take to clear this? So the fraying rope bridge, I have to spirit plus exploration 2. So I can't even take this test because I don't have any spirit energy. So that's fine. And realistically, it's a 3 test because it's attached to the Terravore. So it takes 1 additional effort. I'm going to try to remember my Ranger training since I'm down to 2 cards. So I'm 1-1. 0, I succeed, so I get to look at the top card of my deck. It is Vaulting Rod. I'm going to choose to put it on the bottom. And then I'm going to draw a card. And that card is Versatile. All right, now challenge effects. Nothing in the weather, nothing at the location, nothing on my missions. But Old Bloody Clicker. Suffer 1 injury. Wow, that sucked. Okay, well, there's nothing else I can do this turn, so I'm going to choose to rest, which, thanks to Old Bloody Clicker, that now fatigues me. Alright, I don't have enough progress to travel anywhere, so we ready everything up, reset our energy. Oops. Draw a card, which is another copy of Quiet. And now we draw a path deck. Talus Cave. While your ranger token is on this feature, you do not suffer fatigue from weather. And awareness plus exploration, shelter 2. In the dark recesses, exhaust this feature and move your ranger token to it. Let me just check. I don't think the Terravore takes everyone that comes into play. Nope. So this just goes along the way. Alright, first things first, my turn. I am going to exhaust Uru to move Old Bloody Clicker within reach and add 2 progress to it. That is enough to clear him with progress. So Old Bloody Clicker is gone. That is handy. I don't have the icons to really try to make it to that feature to see what happens with the Terravore. Unless I'm going to chance it. So I'm going to take that Spirit plus Knowledge test. I'm going to use 2 Spirit Energy, and I'm going to commit Versatile, because with Versatile you can suffer a fatigue to give it 1 of every icon. So I am a 3 versus a 2, but the Terravore says when you perform a test that interacts with the attached feature, reduce your effort by 1. So effectively it is a 3-on-3 test, and I'm going to exhaust myself to get around that that other feature. All right, so 3 versus 3. -1, so the Terravore got me on that. So I did not succeed. And I don't suffer anything to it. Yellow Sun, I think, let me just, it's been a while since it was a downpour. Discard 1 rain from this card, and each ranger suffers 1 fatigue. The Fraying Rope Bridge gets a damage on it. And Talus Cave, if there are Nyctobats in play, which there are not. I am going to try... Oh, this goes away. I'm going to try to do that awareness test on the cave to see if I can move myself there, protect myself from the weather. So I'm just a 2-on-2. Oh, that's a big no. Yellow Sun. I remove a weather from downpour, and I'm fatigued. The rope bridge gains another damage, which does destroy it. So I guess the Terravore did destroy it. Let's see. So when it's cleared with damage, discard all progress from this feature. Each ranger with their token on this feature suffers 1 injury. Nobody was there. And it just says response, when the attached feature is cleared, you continue into the depths of the Terravore, read 28.1. So, it doesn't say it has to be cleared through progress, so I can do harm. So I'll read that in a second. Let me just check here real quick. If there are Nyctobats in play. I should have known that from the last time. So let me read going further into the Terravore. You carefully climb into the gaping mouth of the Terravore, coughing slightly as you breathe in the acrid, humid air. The light quickly fades away as you go deeper, and the air becomes thicker and thicker. The ground becomes more jumbled and chaotic as well, as you see rocks and tree trunks giving way to smaller, splintered chunks. Eventually, you come to a smoking, bubbling pool that seems to block your progress. You look around and manage to find 2 routes. There seems to be a path along the side of the pool near a series of protrusions that look uncomfortably like rib bones in the side of the Terravore. However, there is also a particularly large log half submerged in the pool that looks like you could crawl across it. So the Rangers choose to either take the path along the side or take the log through the pool. Okay. I'm not sure the order of things, if I need to shuffle that in. Yeah, I'll shuffle the challenge deck first. I am going to choose to take the path along the side. I don't think crawling across a log over a bubbling, smoking pool that who knows what is in it sounds like a good idea. So I am choosing option A, take the path along the side. So I draw a challenge card. Blue Mountain. If the card has a yellow sun icon, it does not. You're about halfway around the pool when dozens of pale, blind mites the size of your hand drop down from the ceiling and skitter all over you. You spend a few horrifying minutes scooping them off and throwing them into the pool before making it to the other side. Each ranger suffers 3 fatigue. Ugh. I think this is going to be a quick day for me with the injury and all the fatiguing I'm taking here. Okay, you proceed a little farther and are just about to turn back because of the unbreathable air when you see something glowing just up ahead. It appears to be a vine, something not of the Terravore, but linked to it, with fine hair-like roots burrowing into its flesh. As you inspect it, it seems like this links into the biomeld's nervous system. You figure out how to detach it, and wonder if maybe you could link it to yours. But what would it do? Gain the Dendritic Vine reward card. Alright, let's go find what this thing is. Dendritic Vine. It requires 2 focus, so I cannot take it. Costs 2 focus. It is a gear in nature, takes up 2 gear slot, comes in with 3 pulses, has 2 knowledge and 1 explore icon. Use 1 pulse. When you rest, scout 3 ranger cards. Oh, that'd be really nice. Plucked from within the Terravore, this vine comes to life with a thought, sending branching growths over the surface of your skin, somehow enhancing your natural abilities. Well, that's really cool. I would have to camp before I use it, but I do not have enough focus to do that. So, c'est la vie. All right. Do I want to suffer another fatigue? No, I really don't, because I'm going to keep suffering it with that injury. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3 fitness energy to try to pet my sheepdog. So I am a 3 versus a 1. Oh, barely succeed. So I pet your canine companion to ready this being and soothe 1 fatigue, which is healing touch. Oh, beautiful. That's what I need to heal my ranger card. Yellow sun. Well, I fatigue another one. And there are no Nyctobats in play. So, I'm not going to try to remember my ranger training. What the heck. Let's go. This is just going to be a short day. 1 to 1. I succeed with 0. So I do get to scout 0 cards and then draw a card. It is Reclaimer Mucus. All right. That's about all I can do here, so I'm going to choose to rest, which fatigues me one more. We're going to reset our energy, ready everything up, draw a card, which is another copy of Syl's sketchbook, and now draw a path card. It is Nick DeBats. And I just realized I forgot to, back to my old habits, I forgot to shuffle the challenge deck after that last test. That's okay, though. I'll shuffle it now. So Nick DeBats come in along the way. It has 2 presents, starts with 2 bats, has a harm value of X, where X is equal to the number of bats on this swarm, and then it has a connect threshold of 5. And then it has a blue challenge effect. If there is an active web wall, add 1 damage to this swarm. The bats get caught up in the web wall. Okay, my turn. Let me get 2 bats on there. First things first, I'm going to spend 1 to play Healing Touch to heal an injury from a ranger. Let's take care of that. I am going to exhaust Uru to move the Nick DeBats along the way. And I get to add 2 progress to it. All right, I am going to exhaust my sketchbook and use 1 sketch to exhaust the cave. Now I'm going to do a traverse test, and I'm going to exhaust my roll card to dodge the bats. I'm using all 3 fitness and 1 of my boundary sensors. So I am currently a 4 versus 3. Ooh, 4 versus 3. I think I will commit bold to this to be a 6 versus 3. That is a 0, so I succeed with 6 effort, so I get to put 6 progress. Now, Blue Mountain, nothing in the weather, nothing in the location, nothing in the missions. The bats are if there is a web wall out, which there is not. I'm going to try to sketch the bats. I'm going to go 2 to 2. 0, I succeed, so I get to add 2 sketches to the sketchbook because that awareness test to sketch does not indicate an exhaustion, so I can do it while the card is exhausted. I think I am going to rest now. There's no point because I'm going to move on from the Terravore. So I am going to choose to rest. I am no longer injured, so I'm not fatigued. And because I have enough progress, I am going to travel. I'm going to travel from the Terravore down through the old growth forest over to the Mound of the Navigator. So let us bid adieu to the Terravore. Bye-bye. We have arrived at the Mound of the Navigator. From the pillar of rock known as the Mound of the Navigator, you can see for miles in all directions. Many centuries ago, the Estians cultivated an arboretum at the summit of the mound and carved the narrow switchback trails that lead there. As you approach, a flock of dark-feathered birds lifts into the sky, leading your eye out into the valley and to the distant mountains beyond. Right? It is a location, a mountain, and a trail. Does that mean I have to put a polyp in? Yep, I have to go get a polyp. All right. Get that added to the path deck. All right. It has a presence of 2. It has 0 routes on it, and it comes in, and it has a progress threshold of 4 per ranger. Has a test, focus, and exploration. 2. Analyze the paths ahead to add 1 route to this location. Then response: when you travel, add 2 progress to your destination for each route on this location. Ooh, that's nice. So you're basically scouting ahead or figuring out your path ahead because you're so high. All right, lead ranger. Search the path deck for the next feature and put it in play. All right, well, let's see. What do we got here? Metal-Arcs, Irix, Fractal Wire. Yeah. That's not lovely. So we're getting Fractal Wire along the way. Feature hazard flora, obstacle, 2 presence, 2 harm thresholds, 6 connect threshold, obstacle traded, and a test focus and conflict 2. Break the bladed coils and add harm to this feature for every 2 effort. If you fail, suffer an injury. And then Blue Mountain says add a harm to each being within reach. Ugh. What am I doing? That comes along the way. All right, and now we go through the refresh phase. So everything draws up. Energy comes back. And then we draw a card, which is my other copy of Oru. And now, start of the round, we draw a new path card. It is the Ranger Cache. So awareness plus exploration 2 to search the cache for useful gear to move your token to this feature. Then you may search your deck for a gear and equip it. If you fail, move your Ranger token to this feature and may add 1 token to one of your equipped gear. All right. So I can't deal with Fractal Wire with Quiet because it's a being. It's not a being. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to try this. I am going to spend 1 to put my Reclaimer Mucus on the Fractal Wire. So it's attached to a path card. Reduce the attached card's presence by 2. And then when the card fatigues a ranger, the ranger adds 1 harm to it. That's not going to happen because this one doesn't fatigue me. But its presence is now 0. So I'm going to exhaust and use Zero's sketches to exhaust the Fractal Wire. Now, let's see, let's just do a... I'm just debating, do I want to try that? I would be 1 versus 2, so I would fail. There's not a huge deal. Basically, the difference on this one, on the Ranger Cache, is if I succeed, I can go get a gear and equip it. If I fail, I just add a gear, or I add a token to whatever gear I've already got equipped. I wouldn't mind getting my Camo Weave Cloak out, so I'd have a little bit of safety from fatigue, but that's okay. I'm just going to try it. 1, 2, 2. -2, I fail spectacularly. So I get to move my Ranger token to this feature, which will clear it, and I may add 1 token to one of your equipped gear. So I will add it to my boundary sensors. And Yellow Sun, the weather fatigues me 1 and then flips over to the Gathering Storm. And that is it. So now I am going to choose to try to traverse here using 3 fitness energy and 1 of the boundary sensors. So I am a 4 versus a 2. This time I'm going to remember to reshuffle that. +1, so I succeed with a total effort of 5 then, so I get to put 5 progress on here. And Yellow Sun Challenge effect right now, there is nothing. So, because the weather has flipped over. I think, yeah, I think that's going to be my turn. I'm not going to scout any more cards, try to scout any more cards from my deck. Nothing for me to connect with, no beings for me to connect with. So I am going to choose to rest. I'm going to stick around here another turn, though, because I'm going to try to do the test on the location to see if I can prime the next location to get out a little quicker. So I'm going to rest, not travel, though, so we reset everything. Draw a card, which is my Hydra Lens goggles. And let me just verify. Refresh. Add 2 rain to this card, and then if there are 4 more, flip it over. Move all prey to along the way, then each ranger exhausts their roll. Flip this card. Not sure if I did that in the past either, the last time this came up. Oh well. Alright, so that is done, and so we draw a path card. We get Aura Voss, Traveler. So, let's see. I'm sure she's just going to ask for help finding her daughter. Excuse me. You hear the call from a little ways off and turn to see a woman striding towards you. My name's Aura. I'm looking for my daughter. Have you seen her? About this tall, green tunic? Asks a lot of questions. You mention that you haven't seen her, and she throws up her hands. She was supposed to meet me at the ranger station 7 hours ago. Can you help me find her? Clear her with progress to help Aura find Quizzy. Alright, first things first, we're going to exhaust my sketchbook and spend 0 sketches to exhaust fractal wire. Now I'm going to try this fitness, or focus plus exploration. So only 1 focus. Oh, I don't have any exploration icons. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to try to connect with Aura Voss. So 2 versus 1. 0. I succeed, and I get to put 2 progress on her. Red challenge effect, nothing. I am now going to exhaust Uru to move Aura along the way and add 2 progress to her, which will be enough to clear her. Let's see. Hang on a second. Clear. You offer to help, and Aura smiles gratefully. Thank you so much. I've been tracking Quizzy for hours. I think I know where she's going, but somehow the little trailblazer is always 1 step ahead of me. Maybe you can help? Remove all progress from Aura, attach helping hand. If I want to help, remove all progress, attach helping hand to her. If not, I say not today, discard her, and each ranger soothes fatigue. I'm going to say not today, mostly because I want to soothe the fatigue to see if I can get some exploration icons, a healing touch. Riri, that's not bad, but that It's my exploration icon. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spend 2, 1, 2, to get Riri out. And then I'm going to pet my dog. So a 3 to 1. I succeed. So I get to ready Oru and soothe 1 fatigue, which is another Hydra Lens goggle. I have another bold someplace. Question is, do I think it's going to be on the top of my deck? Yeah, I'm not going that far today. Let's try it. So I will try just 1 to 1 to remember my Ranger training. I succeed with 0 effort, so I get to scout 0 cards and draw a card, which is a phonoscopic headset. Well, I don't have enough energy to try that test now. So I guess the question is it worthwhile to stick around here? And I'm going to say no. I'm going to choose to rest. And because the obstacle is exhausted, I can travel on. So, and I've been able to go past it. So I'm going to choose to travel into the swamp. I am going to go into Greenbridge through the swamp. So let's see what happens here. Get on your waders. It is swampy time. I have arrived at the Greenbridge. And quick note, I did realize when I was putting away the changing locations that I made a mistake at the last location. I had put in the old growth path set instead of the ravine path set. Or no, I take that back. I was right. I was looking at the map wrong. Never mind. Everything was fine last time. Ignore what I just said. So we arrive at the Greenbridge. A series of tall vine-wreathed supports rise out of the swamp. Lengths of equally vine-wrapped cables stretch between them, creating a spindly, living walkway above the treetops. The bridge creaks and sways as you walk upon it, and far below you can see the fortress of cypress trees known as Cypress Citadel. How stable is this bridge? All right, the Greenbridge is a location, water and trail traded, so I do not have to shuffle the Reclaimer Polyp into the path deck. It has a presence value of 2. It has 4 struts on it, and it has a 3 per ranger progress threshold on it. Red challenge effect, remove 1 strut. If there are no struts on this location, your section of the bridge collapses. Each ranger suffers 1 injury, end the round, and travel to the Cypress Citadel. So you basically just fall through the bridge and into the trees below. Unpleasant. Right, and lead ranger for the arrival. Lead ranger draws 1 path card. It is an intrepid marmot. It is a being, prey, and mammal. Presence of 1, harm threshold of 2, presence value of 3, focus plus exploration 2 to discern the movements of the courageous rodent to exhaust his being. Add 1 progress to it, and then add 2 progress to a feature for every 2 effort. And then it has basically very similar challenge effects for any prey. All right, that is that. So now we're in the refresh phase. So ready everything up, put our energy back. Draw a card, which is Eagle Eye. And now we are going to add weather to this. Add 2 rain to the card if there are 4 more rain tokens. There are. A peal of thunder fills the air and heavy rain begins. Move all prey along the way. So Marmot runs away because he's scared of the thunder. Then each ranger exhausts their roll and then flip this card over. All right, my turn. I think I just... Actually, let us exhaust the sketchbook and use a sketch to exhaust the marmot. Then we are going to traverse with 3 fitness and 1 of my boundary sensors to be a 4 versus a 2. I succeed with total effort of 4. Blue challenge effect, nothing happens because the marmot is exhausted. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to spend 1 focus to get my phonoscopic headset out. Do I just leave? Yeah, I'm trying to get to the... I got a mission, and I got things to do, so I am going to choose to rest, and then I'm going to choose to travel. This was a quick dash along this rickety old bridge, and which means we are going further into the swamp. So we are at the Green Bridge. We are going to take this path all the way down here to the sunken outpost. So let's hustle along. We have arrived at the sunken outpost. Cordo told you that when the Rangers first explored the valley, they set up outposts every few kilometers. They had deliberately placed some in the most inhospitable locations, assuming that would be where they would be most needed. Pushing aside another curtain of moss and cobwebs, you see one of those forlorn outposts before you. The building is sunk deep into the swamp. Between the grime-caked walls and the hydra worms that seem to be inhabiting it, it's clear that no ranger has visited this outpost in quite some time. So sunken outpost is a location, water, and ruin traded. Because it's got the ruin trait, I did shuffle the Reclaimer Polyp into the path deck. Has a presence of 2, starts with 2 per ranger water on it, has a progress threshold of X, where X is equal to the amount of water on this location. So you can do a test, focus, and knowledge. Focus my nemesis, my dump stat, to divert the deepening water to discard water equal to your effort. And then it has a blue mountain challenge effect to add 1 water to this location. So as it sinks, it gets harder to get out of there. Right, lead ranger, search the path deck for the next water feature and put it into play. Hydra worm, hydra worm. That is a feature, but it is not water. Hydra worm. Fetid bog. That is... Let me try to break up these hydra worms a little bit so I don't have them all next to each other. I don't know. So the fetid bog is a feature, flora and water traded, goes along the way, has a presence of X, 6 harm, 6 progress. It says response. After a being is cleared by harm, attach it face down to this feature. And then on refresh, discard 1 face down card attached to this feature. And that presence value of X, X is equal to twice the number of face down cards attached to this feature. So it is a 0, and then as more things get taken out through harm, they fall into the fetid bog, and it becomes harder and harder to get around. Blue Mountain Challenge Effect says, you may exhaust your roll. If you do not, this feature fatigues you. All right, so that was the travel. So we're now at refresh, so we ready everything up. Draw a card into an eagle eye. Very nice. And now we draw a path card. Well, Aura, I found your child. She's playing around in the swamps. Hey, look, Quizivos, a rascal. From up ahead, you hear a child quietly singing to herself. You move around a large cedar bowl to find a young girl, maybe 8 years old, wandering through the swamp infested with hydra worms, tracing patterns in the ground with a rock. She's covered in dirt head to toe. In place of her left hand is a miraculous piece of technology, a prosthesis, gleaming in the sunlight, its fingers suspended in air, held only by her body's memory of the hand. As soon as she notices you, she hops to her feet. Hi, I'm Quizzy. What are you doing? Where are you going? What is that? Can I use it? Each time you answer a question, she has another one at the ready. It seems like you have a new traveling companion, at least until you can satisfy her curiosity. Clear her with progress to satisfy her curiosity. She is friendly, she is persistent, but she is also fatiguing. So if I don't deal with her, she's just going to follow me around, and every round she is going to fatigue me more as she peppers me with more and more questions. All right, my turn. We are going to try to progress through this location. We're going to do a fitness. We are going to do a boundary sensor. So we are a 4 versus 2. Because Quizzy is friendly, she does not fatigue me. And currently the fetid bog is a presence of 0. So I don't get fatigued there either. So I am a 4 versus 2. +1, I succeed with a total effort of 5. Right, yellow sun, I get fatigued by the weather. Nothing else, nothing from the fetid bog, and Quizzy Boss. Discard either 1 progress or 1 token from a plant, insect, or gear. Looks like I have to do it from a gear. I'm going to do my boundary sensor. Thanks, Quizzy. And now I'm going to spend 1 spirit energy to play Walk With Me. Response: after you succeeded a traverse test, add progress to a being equal to your effort. This is in addition to the test standard effect. So I get to add 4 progress to a being, or 5 progress to a being, and I'm going to choose to put that on Quizzy. After a nonstop barrage of question, you're a bit surprised when Quizzy suddenly stops talking. You turn, and she's standing in a rock, shielding her eyes as she looks at the sun. I would stay and help you some more, but I can't be late for dinner. See you some other time. She hops off the rock and scampers down the path, vanishing from view in an instant. Don't get eaten by the giant worms. Okay. So I have enough progress to leave. So honestly, I think I may just do that. Because again, my strategy is to... So the Marsh of Rebirth has no clear way to get into it. I'm assuming that there's going to be some way to get there from the Cypress Citadel. That is clear. That is just an assumption on my part. I have no actual knowledge of it. So we're going to continue along that strategy. So I'm at Sunken Outpost. I'm going to then travel along the swamp over to Michael's Bog. So I am choosing to rest. I do not have an injury, so I do not suffer any fatigue. And I have enough progress on the location, so I am choosing to travel. So let's head over to Michael's Bog. We have reached Michael's Bog, one of the inside jokes of the game. Amidst the swirling white mist, you can barely make out the shape of the ruin, nearly swallowed up by mounds of grass and half sunken into the murky water. Calypso told you that the whole bog was named after the first artifact an intrepid explorer found within, a red steel device of unknown purpose, inscribed with the characters T of Michael. So Michael's Bog is a location and water traded, so I do not have to put the polyp in there. Has a presence value of 3. It has 0 toxins on it. That sounds promising. And a 4 per ranger progress threshold. Blue mountain effect. Add 1 toxin. If there are more toxin than rangers, swamp gas fills the air. Discard all toxins and add an equal number of harm to a being. Right, and the lead ranger, go find a fetid bog and put it into play. So the inside joke here is Michael Boggs was a game designer at FFG that worked with the people that created this game. So instead of Michael Boggs, it's Michael's Bog. Okay, and I did notice that that last test that I drew, I need to reshuffle the challenge deck, so I'll do that before I refresh. Right, let us refresh everything, give our energy back, and draw a card. We're getting low. Paratrapsis Whistle. And now, top of the round, we draw a new path card. Black Mud. It is a feature, water, trail, and obstacle. Comes in within reach. Presence of 1, harm of 3, a progress of 3, obstacle. You can add a maximum of 1 progress per test to this feature. And Blue Mountain Challenge effect is exhaust your roll. I don't like that. So I think not using my awareness for anything else this turn. Well, yeah, I probably will. I think I might use an Eagle Eye because I might be trapped here this turn. So I'm going to exhaust Sill's sketchbook and use 1 sketch to exhaust the Black Mud so I can get around it. I am going to attempt to traverse here just 3 fitness because that scamp Quizzy took out one of my boundary sensors. So I am a 3 versus a 3. Ooh, I don't like that. Do I have anything I can pitch to help with that? I literally don't. All right, well, 3 versus 3. If I fail, I suffer an injury. Ooh. All right, let's be bold. -1. Well, I fail. So I suffer an injury. And then the fetid bog says, well, I suppose first, location, add 1 toxin. And then if there are more toxins than rangers, nope, not yet. And then the fetid bog says either exhaust my ranger token or it fatigues me. Honestly, it doesn't really matter because I am going to fatigue out this. There's no way I'm going to be able to... I got 1. I'll try it, so I'll exhaust myself so I don't do that. Let us now... Let's spend 1 for Eagle Eye, and I will use my phonoscopic headset to scout 4 path cards and then draw 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a Hydra Worm, a Ranger Cache, and an Arcology Sinkhole. I'm going to put Ranger Cache on the top, and then Arcology Sinkhole below that, and the Hydra Worms are going on the bottom. Now I draw 1, and it is the cache. Alright, there is no point for me to try to do that test because it would be a 1 versus 2, and I don't have any icons that are going to help that. Don't really want to try another test. So I've got 1 more round here. Because I will fatigue 1 when I rest, then I'll draw 1. So I would have to all right, well, it's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to choose to rest because I don't want to take any tests, because if I do, then the toxins are going to overwhelm me and stuff. So I'm just going to end, and then we'll see if I can do a Hail Mary and try to get enough progress to get out of here next turn. So I'm going to rest, refresh all the cards. Oh, and because I rest, I fatigued one. I draw my Camo Weave Cloak, which is great, other than I only have one card left in my deck, so. And now we draw a path card. It is that Arcology Sinkhole. The problem being, so I have to clear at least one of those locations, either the sinkhole or the cache. First things first, we're going to use the sketchbook, last sketch on it, to sketch the black mold, or black mud. Okay, we are going to do the test on the emergency or the ranger cache. I'm just going to put one in, because if I fail, I get to add a token to a gear, so I would be able to do the boundary sensor. So I am a 1 versus a 2. 0, I fail. So I get to add a gear token to a gear. Unfortunately, the Blue Mountain. So I'm going to have to add a toxin. If there are more toxins than rangers, there are. Swamp gas fills the air. Discard all toxins and add an equal number of harm to a being. I'm going to put it on quiet. Okay. Then the sinkhole. Discard 1 progress from a feature. If you cannot, this card fatigues you. And this says you may exhaust your roll. If you do not, this feature exhausts you. Oh, I move my token to this, so this clears. Okay, that is going to be a problem because... Oh, no, it won't. Okay, so I will exhaust my roll to avoid this. This one, I fatigue 1. I don't immediately end my day. Actually, it doesn't matter because I can't travel now because I'm injured. Oh, actually, I could. I completely forgot I had Healing Touch in my hand. All right, so I still have an outside chance. So I exhaust 1 because of the sinkhole. All right, so we are going to spend 1 for Healing Touch to heal this injury. Should have paid attention to my cards last round. I would have 1 more card to play with. I am now going to spend 1... awareness to get a new copy of Syl's sketchbook out, which I will then use 2 sketches to exhaust the sinkhole. Now I'm going to try a traverse test using that new boundary sensor. So I am a 4 versus 3, and I need 4 progress. So I need this to be a 0 or a +1. It is naturally a -1. So I do succeed, but I only get 3 progress. And there's going to be nothing I can do about that. Yep, and then we add a toxin. And then the fetid bog fatigues me, which I have nothing, so my day ends. All right, well, not terrible. I actually got pretty far into the swamp. I am at Michael's Bog, so then the next day I will try to get to the Cypress Citadel, which will hopefully give me a path into the Marsh of Rebirth. So there we have it. So as always, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button. You want to see more Earthborne Rangers, Marvel Champions, Kinfire Chronicles, Dune Imperium, or whatever else I got coming up next, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, you want to see something in particular, a different game, something different with this game, or saw any play mistakes I made, go ahead and leave a comment below. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great day.